Have you ever spent 10 minutes writing a message that should have taken 10 seconds? You type one sentence, then you add context, then you soften the tone, then you reread everything because you are trying to predict how the other person will interpret you. Before you know it, a simple answer has become a full explanation, and your brain is tired before you even press send. Most people think over-explaining is just a communication habit, or a confidence issue, or people-pleasing, but there is another layer most people miss. Over-explaining is cognitively expensive. Every unnecessary explanation forces your brain to review, predict, edit, defend, and rehearse long after a simple response would have been enough. That is cognitive overtime. Not every message needs a paragraph. Not every decision needs a closing argument. Not every boundary needs a full defense. But when your brain is trained to prevent misunderstanding at all costs, it starts treating every response like a threat. You do not simply answer, you calculate, you imagine the reaction, you adjust the tone, you explain the background. You try to remove every possible way someone could misread you. That may look like careful communication, but often it becomes mental labor the situation did not require. The explanation is not only words, it is attention, working memory, emotional energy, self-monitoring, risk prediction. You are not just writing a message. You are trying to control an interpretation. If your goal is to be clear, explanation can be useful. But if your goal is to make sure nobody questions you, rejects you, misunderstands you, or feels disappointed, no amount of explanation will ever feel like enough. Because now you are not communicating. You are trying to manage someone else's reaction. A simple, "I cannot make it tonight," becomes a full story. A clear, "that does not work for me," becomes 3 paragraphs. A decision becomes a defense. A boundary becomes a courtroom speech. You are not adding clarity anymore. You are adding protection. And every layer of protection costs mental energy. The brain keeps asking, will this sound too harsh? Should I explain more? What if they get upset? What if this changes how they see me? That loop keeps the conversation alive before it even happens. And often, after it is already over, you send the message, then you reread it, then you imagine the response, then you wonder if you said too much, too little, or the wrong thing. Now the conversation has access to your mind for hours. That is the cognitive cost, not the message itself. The mental work around the message, the editing, the anticipating, the defending, the replaying, the need to be understood perfectly by someone who may not even be trying to understand you. This is why over-explaining drains more energy than people realize. It keeps your brain attached to the conversation. It keeps the loop open. It gives the other person's possible reaction permanent access to your attention. And attention is limited. If your brain spends energy defending every choice, explaining every boundary, and justifying every preference, that energy will not be available for focus, patience, or rest. This is not about becoming cold. There are moments when explanation matters, but not every situation requires your full mental file. Not every question deserves a full report. Not every boundary needs emotional evidence attached to it. A clear answer is not rude just because it is short. A simple boundary is not incomplete just because it does not include a long explanation. Sometimes the strongest sentence is the one that stops before it becomes self-betrayal. Your brain thinks the extra explanation is keeping you safe, but often it is keeping you trapped in the conversation. Every additional sentence gives a situation more access to your mind. Every attempt to be perfectly understood keeps your brain working longer than the situation deserves. So before you explain more, pause. Ask yourself, does this explanation actually serve a purpose? Or am I trying to control how this person sees me? Useful explanation creates clarity. Unnecessary explanation creates cognitive debt. The difference is not always the length of the message. The difference is the motive. Are you explaining because the situation truly needs context, or because you feel responsible for preventing every possible negative interpretation? Are you clarifying? Or are you defending your right to have a need? Are you communicating? Or are you trying to earn permission to make a choice? This is where internal boundaries begin. A boundary is not only what you tell other people, it is also what you stop forcing your brain to do. You stop forcing it to build a case for every preference. You stop forcing it to predict every reaction. You stop forcing it to keep working after a simple answer has already done enough. Your brain does not need to work overtime every time you make a decision. It does not need to prove that your limit is valid. It does not need to make every person comfortable with every choice. It does not need to turn every no into an essay. That does not mean you become careless. It means you become precise. You give context when context is useful. You explain when explanation serves the relationship. You clarify when clarity is needed. But you stop spending mental energy trying to make every person understand you perfectly. Being understood by everyone is cognitively expensive, and it is not always possible. Some people will misunderstand you no matter how carefully you explain. Some people will treat your explanation as an invitation to negotiate. Some people do not need more information. They need access to your energy, and over-explaining gives it to them. This is why a shorter response can be a form of mental protection, not because less is always better, because enough is enough. A sentence can be complete without being over-defended. A boundary can be clear without being over-explained. A decision can be valid without being approved by everyone who hears it. When your answer is clear, more explanation may not add clarity. It may only add work, more reviewing, more predicting, more emotional monitoring, more access. And your brain pays for every unnecessary explanation. So the next time you are about to send a long message, notice the moment. Are you adding information? Or are you adding anxiety? Are you making the message clearer? Or are you trying to make rejection impossible? You do not have to delete every explanation, but you can delete the part that is only fear, the part that is only defense, the part that is trying to earn permission to have a boundary, the part that keeps your brain working for someone else's possible reaction. That is not rude. That is cognitive protection. Not every person, question, or reaction deserves more of your mental energy. Sometimes the healthiest response is not the longest one. It is the clearest one. And clarity does not always require more words. Sometimes it requires the courage to stop. Your brain pays for every unnecessary explanation. So let some answers be simple. Let some boundaries stand without a speech. Let some people misunderstand without making your mind work all night to prevent it. You are allowed to communicate without over-defending yourself. You are allowed to be clear without being exhaustive. You are allowed to protect your mental energy from conversations that keep asking for more than they deserve. That is not avoidance. That is internal boundaries. And when you understand that, you stop asking, how do I explain myself better? You start asking, does this deserve more of my brain? That question protects your attention. It protects your energy, and it helps you stop turning every simple response into mental overtime. Be prosperous from the inside out.